Mate, class, eh?
Yeah.
I'm buzzing to see them.
Awesome
And
to see.
on the flip side of that, what about Leicester? Mate, you got two losses back to back at home.
They've
Again,
lost 5 games at home this year. That's unheard of in the Premiership.
Mate, I'm looking at it, and I'm going to say it, and I'm not one for opening people up on it like you, Goody.
But
George Ford, captain.
there we go.
George Ford is captain of Leicester. Did you see? I'm not talking about the one where Gonover ran over him on the line. I'm on about his defence throughout that game.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing, mate.
Yeah.
And it's, mate, he's Leicester. He's Leicester captain.
Yeah. That used to absolutely mean something.
But and mate, I know you couldn't tackle a man,
I could get the belly in the way.
but you weren't captain, and the game was very different back then.
Yeah.
Now, captain of Leicester, it comes with a lot of responsibility, not just as to get out there and lead the team week in, week out, and be a voice in training, and being able to throw unbelievable loop passes. It's DNA, and that's what we spoke about when Bakewell Tart went in. We said, Bakewell's going to come in, and he spoke about the DNA of the club and the forwards. And it's one of them where you don't want to open people up, but it's there for all to see. And I think that
My question on it, though, so obviously Tom Youngs is the club captain.
Yeah.
He's on the bench because Plotter now is a decent player and they rotate a bit, which is great.
Plottonau's a good player, mate.
Yeah, and so they rotate. So when you look through the rest of the team and you go, who's a candidate there to be captain of Leicester? Ben Youngs is starting at 9.
Yeah.
That's a player that would bleed for the club in any which way he could. I know he's only just come back from injury, but mate, they for me, and I said it when they signed him, it was a panic signing by Leicester because and they're paying him $600,000 a year, George Ford, and he's not worth anywhere near that in my opinion.
Go on, Goody. Go on, son.
We said at the time he's away with England, so he's
Yeah.
missing a load of games. And then when he comes back, he hasn't played very well for Leicester.
Yeah.
He hasn't earned his cash. And then you start to look at the squad, and this is Leicester's worst ever season in the Premiership. Let's not beat around the bush here in terms of the results at home, etc. I think they had since 2004, it's their worst ever year.
It's the first time they've missed the playoffs since 14
2004.
years.
Mate, they could fall out of the top 6. They got Sale.
Yeah, I don't think they will because Gloucester got to go to Sarries.
Okay.
And Gloucester messed up losing at home to Bath. But they could conceivably, had Gloucester... So Friday night I tweeted, they're out of the top 4. They're not making the top 4. And they could conceivably not make Europe. Which, can you imagine Leicester Tigers not in Europe? Not in the Champions Cup?
Yeah.
So, and if Gloucester had beaten Bath at home, which people expected them to do... no one expected Sale to get anything down at Exeter or maybe a bonus point, but it would have come down to a straight shootout for this weekend. And now I think Gloucester miss out on Champions Cup unless they win the Challenge Cup in a couple of weeks. But yeah, Leicester, for me, it's not the coaches. The playing group is the playing group. It's something else. And you look at the recruitment, I think their recruitment's been poor.
It's the identity of the club, and that's what we spoke about before. And me and you are both very passionate about the club. They were my first club that gave me a chance when Dino was there and Cockers were there and Simon Cohen, and they did a lot for me. I'm looking at it now as a fan and someone who wants to see a very dominant Leicester team in the modern game. And you look at
the ball's changed a lot from the good old days as well, hasn't it? It's gone very commercial there as a club now.
I don't know, has it?
It has, yeah, massively.
Commercial meaning what? As in they're trying to grow, or that they're more money orientated?
Money orientated off field. So you see that the standard of the squad, and the George Ford signing was a panic signing. Trying to make a statement.
For me, Biggers, you're Leicester 10 through and through.
Dan Bigger.
Yeah.
But they're hamstrung by the fact that they tried to chase George Ford because they were needed to make this statement, and their issues were up front last year.
Yeah.
And again this year,
I think Freddie Burns is a better player
than George Ford.
I do.
Yeah, I agree. But actually, do you know what? I was speaking to a few Leicester fans and looking at bits online and stuff. They're saying they played their best rugby with Tamur at 10.
Well, they did earlier in the season, didn't they?
Yeah, and when George Ford was away with the Six Nations.
Yeah.
So people. I think
Leicester went down to Sarries and won with Tamur at 10.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, and I think they've got their recruitment wrong, and I think straight away people will go, "Oh, Matt O'Connor." Well, I don't think it's Matt O'Connor because I think from what you hear, he's a pretty good coach. But who's in charge of recruitment? Who's the supposed director of rugby there? There's a guy called Jed Glynn who, in my opinion, is way out of his depth in a job like that. He was a scout that is best mates with Simon Cohen and has been given this director of rugby role that because Simon Cohen's CEO and the business is doing phenomenally well off the field, but you have to marry up the business off the field success with Leicester's identity and DNA. And they can say we can sell this many corporate spots and for a game, but if the product on the field isn't great, and the test now is all these reliable Leicester fans that come week in week out, and there's thousands of them. It's the most heavily supported club in the land. It's the first year they've not made the playoffs. Now, questions have to be asked. The board need to ask serious questions of Simon Cohen, the CEO, of Jed Glynn, who's, I don't know what his job title is, but he's like a director of rugby. And then who's in charge there? Is it Matt O'Connor? You can go to every club and understand who the ultimate boss is in terms of recruitment, in terms of negotiating who they want to keep, who they want to bring in, how they play, the direction the club's going in, the DNA of the club. Mark McCall has got people under him, but everyone knows he's the gaffer at Saracens.
So therefore he's accountable.
Yeah. Di Young, same at Wasps. Dean Richards, same at Newcastle.
I saw that Jim Allender, Northampton, he's the one that gone.
Yeah.
Did they do reviews?
Kingston.
Will there be a review at the end of the season where they sit down and go, who is in charge? We need to change this?
I don't know. And this is the board. The board's changed a lot at Leicester. So some of the old school is probably the wrong word. Some of the people ingrained in the board from the successful period, the people that have played for the club for years and years and years and have, care about the club deeply. Someone like Roy Jackson, who isn't on the board anymore, who...
He's on the board of the Matt Hampson Foundation.
Yeah, but he's not on the board of Leicester
No.
Tigers. Now, good people like that have come off the board because they didn't like I presume they didn't like the direction the club was going in. And
Ben Kay's on the board now,
yeah,
isn't it? And I think you need more of that. I think Andy Goode for the board. Come on, there we go. I think you're fucked now. I'll be honest, but I've not said anything bad, so I'll be quite happy to sit on the board. Do you get paid? Do you get paid
Surely.
to sit on the board?
Depends.
I mean, how easy just sitting on a board? Like, is it like literally? Does the expression go? You sat on a board, or not? Cardboard.
I don't think you sit on cardboard.
Okay,
or
right,
a
that's
board.
fine.